A lot of y'all never heard of mercenary groups. And what goes on in this country is the elites will send out mercenary groups first to kill y'all. And now we got mercenary groups snatching their ass up. See what I'm saying? So the elites was sending out mercenary groups forever to kill y'all, the public. So the mercenary groups would ride around. They would dress up like local gangbangers, right? And their job would be to go start gang wars. So their job would be literally to just ride around and kill people. Murder for hire is the second biggest profession in the world, and y'all don't even know about it. A lot of your ex-Navy SEALs, your ex-Marines, how you think they keep making money after the war? And they be fucked up in the head from being trained to kill. And they need to feed that urge. Murder for hires, nigga. This shit is a huge trade that's never talked about in this country or in the planet at all, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Why do they be so many headshots to be ex-Marines? These are mercenary groups. Ex-Navy SEALs. They riding around killing motherfuckers dressed up, disguised with masks on, looking like everyday gangbangers. Got the real gangbangers at war with each other. Because they didn't kill these niggas. They went and killed the BDs first, shot at the BDs. You thought the GDs did that. And you went and shot at the GDs. Then they went and killed some more GDs. And then that GDs thought the BDs did that. And they went and killed some BDs. So you got GDs killing BDs on top of mercenary groups killing GDs and BDs. And not just them. This is all over the planet. With gangs in every ghettos all over the planet, nigga. They call mercenary groups. They are paid government hitmen that ride around. And this is what they do. This is what they do. Like when I ride around, y'all not be on point. I don't be worried about no niggas in no street. I don't even be worried about no FBI, no CIA. I ain't worried about nobody, but I be on point for the mercenary groups. The people that are like regular people that are actually hired hitmen, professional hitmen and hit women. This is a fact, boy.
I got a chance to go to Chicago, and I guess I was in the safe zone because I was like downtown by like the Trump Towers, and it didn't seem as rough as everybody said. Yo, you gotta be careful when you in Chicago.
That's the best zone to be in.
Like, why didn't I see what I thought I was gonna see?
See, you was where it was street name downtown.
Okay.
Once you get past, when I say what, 15th Street, something like that, going in, that's the hood. Everything is bad that way. Like that downtown shit, ain't no bodies dropping downtown, ain't no crimes. You going to jail forever. You do something to somebody downtown. All them successful white and black people down there, man, their business. But when you get into the hood, you gotta do it.
Well, I also heard that like they knocked down all the projects and stuff, so like they cleaned it up.
They tore all the projects down and just scattered everybody out into different neighborhoods. They got to readapt. Now they beefing with these people and even put these people who already it messed, bro. That was a terrible idea for Chicago to do that. Terrible, because it's like, you know what I'm saying? You basically taking people out of a environment that they know and that they can live and make money in and all that, and just put them out into the world, into somebody else's environment. Now they want to take over these people's neighborhood, or, you know what I'm saying, they already beefing with these people, so it spiced up the murder rate.
You know, me being out there, I always ask a couple questions, and they was telling me that it was a extensive amount of guns in the hoods, right?
You know what I'm saying? They bring guns in like through the trains. You know what I'm saying? Like the freight trains or whatever. And like mysteriously, every time they come through, the guns get stolen off the trains. Now they on the news, all these army guns, they on the streets, we're looking for them. They not looking for them because they know they tip somebody off to get them. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all got crates of guns coming through this city, and it's got to make certain stops, how do these people know that it's guns on here and they making these stops? So, you know what I'm saying? They doing what they can to put them guns out there. They know what they doing.
To just get a gun and,
Yeah, and you could buy guns for like $20 in Chicago, from what I hear.
I mean, for what I hear, the cops drop off boxes of guns in the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah, that's what I hear. Yeah, they, you know, it's a whole setup. Like, they have access to these guns so easily. And I do think, I wouldn't put it past the cops to be dropping off boxes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely what's happening in Jamaica. I mean, if you talk about your heritage, with all the guns in Jamaica, and then how the gangs are tied to the political parties and everything else like that.
It's like we had a lot of guns, but I never seen so many guns like now, ever.
And
it's like they dropped. It's like they dropped off, like somebody dropped off crates of guns in everybody's hood. Like it seemed like it was designed for a motherfucker to lose. Like somebody putting all these guns here.
A deadly Labor Day weekend in Chicago as President Trump continues to set his eye on the city, threatening to send in the National Guard as early as this week. At least 52 people have been shot in Chicago over the Labor Day weekend. 7 of those victims died.
The violence included 3 mass shootings that happened at Haddon in California, in Chicago's Humboldt Park neighborhood, and 2 in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood, 35th and State and 36th and Cottage Grove.
A mass shooting happened right across the street from the Chicago Police Department headquarters parking lot. The cleanup process is now underway. The city's street sweepers clean up a mess that resulted in several people shot.
We got some down in the curb down this way too.
Fire crews also called out to clean up blood-stained cement. Police say 7 people were shot in the 3500 block of South State Street, just around the corner from Chicago Public Safety Headquarters, around 11 Saturday night. Police say a vehicle with multiple men inside went down the block, and at least one of the men opened fire on a crowd. Maddie Curry heard the gunshots.
All this pop, pop, pop. They were lit up on that side just like Christmas time coming. These cars were just lit up. They were all behind each other. All these shooting and shooting. I'm thinking it's 4th of July.
All 7 people were shot and taken to the hospital in good condition. A few hours later, police say 3 men were shot in the Pilsen neighborhood. They were standing outside in the 1900 block of West 17th Street when someone came up and shot them all. 2 men were shot in the leg and are expected to be okay, but a 46-year-old man was struck multiple times in the body and died.
Only person shooting, caller says people have been shot. Nothing further.
So far, 5 have been killed and 31 people hurt during this Labor Day weekend. Over the past 2 years, violence has gone down for the holiday. In 2023, 8 people were killed and 41 were hurt. Last year, 5 died and 26 were injured. 3rd Ward Alderman Pat Dow says in a statement, "We need to properly resource communities like ours in the 3rd Ward. I have long asked for additional police manpower to deal with large illegal gatherings and pop-up parties that routinely occur throughout the Bronzeville neighborhood." No one has been arrested in any of the shootings over the Labor Day weekend.
Shalom. I would like to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh, Bahashem, Rakakodash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere Akim, pushing this word across the 4 corners of the world. And just another news update through the spirit, the power, and the vibration of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh. And concerning this news update, you have within Chicago, Illinois, they had a very violent Labor Day weekend, which was this past weekend, and at least 8 people have been killed and 48 others have been wounded by gunfire. And in the midst of this, Donald Trump deemed Chicago as the worst and the most dangerous city in the world. And he even called Chicago as the murder capital of the world. And mind you that this is no coincidence by chance how this surge of gun violence within Chicago this past Labor Day weekend is all aligning up with Trump's and this overlord's agenda by them deploying National Guard troops to Chicago, so therefore Chicago can be a federalized police state. Like, this is not by chance. And this is how the so-called powers that be, they are deeply heavy into these left-handed enchantments, such as these psychological operations. And let me say this also, like within these inner cities throughout America, you do have Jake at war amongst each other. And when I say Jake, I'm referring to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the true biblical Israelites. And you particular individuals of our people are at odds amongst each other, which are due to the biblical curses that the Heavenly Father Yahweh placed upon our people. And the so-called powers that be, mainly that stem from the tabernacle of Esau Edom, they know this. They know exactly who we are as a people. It's just the vast majority of our people that do not know who they are according to the Bible. So what these elites do on the left-hand side, they inflame that tension amongst the tribes, especially amongst these inner cities throughout America. For example, Chicago. And even these music label executives that's involved into this satanic music industry, they know exactly who we are according to the Bible. And that's because most of them do stem from Amalek, the small hats, which are biblical Edomites. And what do these major label record companies do via their music label executives? Throughout the music genre of rap music, gangster rap, trap music, drill rap, they will scope and see who's popping as far as music on one part of the city, and more than likely, that particular person or crew of that particular person will be at odds against another person on the other side of the city that might be popping a little bit. And what would these music label executives would do? They would give both these rappers and their crews a platform where they will be making diss songs towards one another. Then those diss songs will start intensifying, and either that rapper or rappers or the crew of that rapper or rappers will start shooting at one another, trying to aim to take the opposition out. Like, for example, out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you had this rapper by the name of Fredo Bang, and his group is called TBG, Top Boy Gorilla. And him and his crew are at odds in a different part of the city by the name of NBA Youngboy. And his crew is NBA, which is Never Broke Again. So again, Esau will monetize these guys and give them major platforms. And these two opposing rappers might get a lot of notoriety from it and might blow up and even get a major record deal from it because, of course, they have to sell out. But in the midst, you have their crews going at odds with one another and actually shooting and harming one another. And that hatred and violent mentality comes to standard amongst their fans, subscribers, or listeners. And these small hats music label executives, they place that same bait by intensifying that hatred amongst Jake within these inner cities across America. And as you should know, Jake, by being very simple, gullible, and vulnerable, they get easily enticed by that poison that this serpent Esau Edom has laid out for them as a snare or a trap. So going back to this first opening video of this rapper slash influencer by the name of Jamal Rashad, he was speaking out about Chicago mercenaries, who be these ex-Marines or Navy SEALs, and they are hired hitmen for the government. And they be roaming around these inner cities looking for Jake to stir up more chaos within these inner cities. And they have become so strategic with it, where these mercenaries would dress up and masquerade themselves as Jakes by wearing a mask that looks like Jake, and it would dress up as a rivalry gang. It would start chaos or doing a drive-by on another rivalry gang or opposition. So Jake would think that this particular gang did it, but meanwhile, it was these mercenaries being masqueraded as Jakes the whole time, just fearing that order out of chaos. And like I stated earlier, through the spirit, these so-called powers that be, they know exactly who we are according to the Bible. It's just the vast majority of our people that do not know who they are according to the Bible. So in a sense, these so-called powers that be are forwarding their affliction, hence the curses upon our people even more. And that takes me right to Deuteronomy 28 verse 54. And these are the consequences of our people saying I do to our mediator Moses within the wilderness, and to abide by the Heavenly Father Yahweh's laws, statutes, and commandments. And we broke that holy covenant or contract as a people. And that violation was the curses were going to be fall upon us. And here's one of them, Deuteronomy 28 verse 54. So that the man, referring to a fellow Israelite man, that is tender among you and very delicate, which goes back to that brotherly love, like being graceful amongst each other, his eye should be evil toward his brother. And this explains the so-called black on black crime, brown on brown crime, brown on black crime, or black on brown crime. So his eye should be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children which he should leave. And regarding the other opening video, the news commentator was referring to Donald Trump setting his eye on the city, referring to Chicago, that automatically made me think about this scripture right here through the Spirit. And this is the book of Psalm 10 verse 8. He, referring to Esau Edom, within this sense, that can be referred to Trump. sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places do he murder the innocent. And once you go into the word lurking, it goes into a liar in wait, which is spelled L-I-E-R. And it also goes into to lie in ambush. And that's because Esau Edom is likened unto a predator, like a ravenous wolf. And our people being at prey, they can be likened unto sheep, and more so lost sheep. And when that ravenous wolf see that lost sheep out there wandering, just totally astray, then it's on sight for that predator, nothing but bloodshed. And it says, his eyes are privily set against the poor. And the poor represents you Israelites. Again, the prey. Which takes me right to Nahum 3:1. Woe to the bloody city. And that bloody city within today's time can be referenced unto America. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not. So again, the prey represents you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I always reference this movie Through the Spirit, Menace to Society, that came out in 1993, when Cain and Sharif was sitting in that classroom of Sharif's father, and he told Cain and Sharif how the hunt is on and you are the prey. Meaning that it's so many elements within this American society where our people being at prey and being very vulnerable at that can get easily devoured. And that's exactly what's coming to Chicago, of Trump deploying these National Guard troops to Chicago and making Chicago as a federalized police state. And this NWO agenda is only going to be like a domino effect upon the other major inner cities within America. And I came across a comment regarding this violent Labor Day weekend within Chicago, and somebody stated these so-called shootings can all be orchestrated by implants, like imposters. Again, masquerading as Jake, just so that Chicago can fit this narrative of the National Guard intervening. And like I stated earlier, yes, you do have Jakes causing a lot of these crimes, hence the curses. But remember, according to the book of Psalm 64:6, it goes into how these so-called powers that be, they search out iniquities, and how they accomplish a diligent search, and how their inward thought is very deep. So with that being said, Esau Edom can go into some very left-handed strategic ways, hence those sorceries and enchantments, to the point that Jake cannot fully comprehend, or even not think of a strategic plan like this. So again, woe to the bloody city, it is all full of lies and robbery, the prey departed not. And going back to how this is all full of lies and robbery, because Esau loves to plaster Jake as the usual suspects. And again, I will say, like these YNs of Jake, yes, they are very wicked. They definitely deserve the brutal judgments Yahweh Bahashim Al-Shah has planned out for them. But let's not get it mistaken who we are dealing with. And that's Esau Edom, the man of sin. And remember how Yahweh Shah stated that he was a murderer from the beginning and the father of lies. And also linking up with the book of Psalm 144 verse 11, how it goes into about rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. So again, Esau can paint this false narrative, and by deceiving the whole world to think that Jake are the usual suspects. But really, when you think about it, Esau Edom are the original suspects, where the vast majority of our people, including these YNs, learn from. So jumping back to the book of Psalm 10 verse 8, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, and that's again Esau Edom being that liar in wait, and he's waiting to ambush you Israelites. And that's because this devil knows that he has but a short time. Remember what these Edomites' forefathers stated at the beginning, how the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. And we are definitely within those times when Yahweh Bahashim Al-Shah is about to make his left-handed created player Esau Edom to tap more into those left-handed means. And we're going to witness the anger and the ride of Yahweh Bahashim Al-Shah through his vessel of dishonor. And that's again Esau Edom. And this dragon Esau is about to soon make war with the woman. referring to you Israelites. So he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places do he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. Verse 9, he lied in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lied in wait to catch the poor. He do catch the poor when he drawed him into his net. And another fashion or form of that net can be how these city leaders within Chicago, who a lot of them are jates, and mind you that these particular city leaders are so-called Democrats, now they are siding with Trump due to this uptick in crime within Chicago, and now they are being enticed to say that their city, Chicago, needs National Guard intervention, which ultimately means that it needs to be a federalized police state. And like we always say through the spirit, Esau's false flags, his psyops, his false narratives are nothing but trial runs. And where this same sentiment of these so-called city leaders, and where this particular agenda is going to be like a ripple effect upon the other so-called minority-based cities within America. And that takes me right to Revelation 12 verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out. And the great dragon is referencing to Esau Edom in the form of the pagan Roman Empire. That old serpent called the devil and Satan. So that old serpent can be interchangeable with the great dragon, which is Esau Edom. And to go even further, you had this show that came out like in 2010 that was called Spartacus. It was about a Thracian warrior by the name of Spartacus, who was a Jate, by the way. And later throughout that show, he got enslaved by the pagan Roman Empire. But guess what? The first season and the first episode of that show was called The Red Serpent. Again, referencing to that pagan Roman Empire. Because when that ancient Roman legion, when they came to take over a city or go in battle, they came in droves, more so like a great flood of how this resurged Roman Empire is going to be, which is referring to America. Throughout the times of Jacob's trouble, they're going to come in like a great flood. And again, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. And that's through this serpent venomous tongue. Hence, his sorceries, enchantments, aka that Babylonian wine, which has spiritually and morally intoxicated the whole world, except for the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. And it says, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And here's the point, verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power, Yahweh, in the power of his Mashiach, Yahushua, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, day and night. And once you go into this word accuser within the Greek, which is categorial, and that's where you get the word category from. And from the outline of biblical usage, it goes into to accuse before a judge, which is Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, to make an accusation of an extrajudicial accusation. So what Esau does, he classifies us, or more so, he sorts us in one box, such as the usual suspects, being ghetto, being loud, being the downtrodden, being the filth of the earth. So what he does, he capitalizes and thrives off our biblical curses. Like he has monetized sin culture. He made it cool, especially amongst our people. Like going back to what I said earlier about the genre of gangster music or trap music, and more so drill music, just look how Esau has weaponized music, where he coerced these Jate rappers and give them a major platform and to influence our people with sin culture, which is really death culture. Then he will go to our judge, which is ultimately Yahushua, and say, look how your people are sinning against you, just so that he could stay within power, within his blessing. However, he did not factor in that Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua has reserved an elect of the nation of Israel that's preordained not to pursue after the fashion of his world. So that pretty much concludes the lesson through the Spirit. We are definitely entering into some perilous and dreadful times, and where these evil times are referenced as the times of Jacob's trouble, where this is about to be the darkest times that ever approached this planet Earth. And it's about to soon take a lot of our people off guard. And that's because they did not spiritually prepare within their grace period. And whereas the wisdom and the knowledge of Yahweh Bahashim Al-Shai would not be the stability of their times, only for the elect of the nation of Israel on this side. So, Aparatazat, you all was edified, you all stay strong, keep pushing forward. Shalom.